And
Damn the man.
so we're gonna do like breaks here and there to stop the recording to make sure nothing gets lost.
Sure.
So I'm gonna keep an eye on the clock, I guess. But yeah, no. Other than that, I started recording, so we're just gonna like, if we want to like figure some stuff out before we like get into it, like we all have like that outline that Mimi did, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah, we'll try to keep it an hour. We're probably gonna go over, but yeah, I mean, just as long. Yeah, just as long as it's not like 2 hours, which we have done before.
Yeah,
so.
we were pretty like, let's just talk until we're done talking last time. And we want to make it a little bit more focused this time, yeah.
Sure, yeah. The post in that is
so when we start it, Mimi, do we want to like start out with talking about how this is like the first episode of season 2 or anything like that, or our updated situation of recording and stuff like that? We want to address it.
Yeah, I mean, just one sentence or whatever. It's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to take it, or I mean, we'll split it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, we can do what we used to do. Just welcome to Cadmium Dread thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, is everybody ready to get into it?
Good.
Cool.
All right.
Okay. I don't know. Let's do the 3 seconds of silence just to get room noise. I don't know if that works virtually, but maybe it'll help.
I mean, it will because we'll have room noise from the recording, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so 3 seconds of silence. Okay.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah. Got a little bit of like, there's like room tone from your mic, maybe, actually.
Yeah, I know. It's because the fan on this thing is going crazy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't.
I actually turned my actual fan off, so I'll be schwitzing by the end of this. Anyways, let's get started. All right.
Welcome to
Cadmium Dread
Quarantine Edition. This is our first episode of Season 2, and we are recording virtually.
Yep, because we can't meet in person because everything in the world.
I mean,
we could, I guess, but you know who we
can't?
And
die.
Yeah, we can. No, we'll be fine. Anyways, this is Season 2 of Cadmium Dread. This is the pandemic arc. It's been going on way too long. Everyone's telling the author to like move on, but they're not listening.
Yes. Josh, you're right. You were about to say that it is special that we're doing it virtually because now we can reach people that we couldn't reach before.
That's true, because guess who we couldn't record with in person until this new situation? Our guest today, Beau Brokop.
What's up, guys?
Hi.
How's it going, Beau?
Not bad. You know, I'm honored to be in episode 1 of season 2.
Yeah.
You know, even if it is amidst the pandemic, I feel honored. You know, I feel like maybe I'm the villain of this chapter. So,
nah,
make it saucy.
Definitely not. We're just happy to finally have you. Like, I guess the good thing that comes of this new situation in the world is we get people who are cool that aren't local onto the show.
Yeah. I mean, no, when you brought it up to me, it was a couple months ago. You know, you were like, would this be something you're interested in? You know, and we always talked about if I did get a chance to go visit out there in person, I would absolutely be down for that. But current circumstances, I'm glad this worked out.
Yeah.
Really, truly, like, this is super cool.
And I don't know actually when these episodes will be coming out. So maybe, hopefully, this really dates us, and like people are like, what are they talking about? Everything's good now. I hope that's the case.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, we got a pretty solid timeline in 2020 that we can go by now. You know, so it's pretty nuts.
Yeah. So. Yikes.
Yeah.
Anyways,
let's
talk about the better stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Beau's name has been like name dropped in a few episodes of ours because he is a Machine Zone alum.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
hopefully all good things, you know.
Oh yeah,
Hopefully.
definitely. I like the fact that we like always do that kind of name dropping thing. It's kind of like we're putting in teasers for like future content. We're like teasing the characters that are going to show up in later chapters.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Could you tell us a little bit about your experience and kind of what you're doing now?
Yeah, sure. I've been working on games and film for I think it's like a decade now. It's crazy. I got my first studio gig about 2 years out of college, which was like 2011, and just kind of jumped to a whole bunch of different companies. You know, I graduated from college at like the worst time you could job wise in 2009. You know, it was even harder for an artist, so it was like you know, you just kind of did what you needed to do to make the best art you could, and that's why you see so many different like styles in my portfolio and stuff. You know, it's just like you go where the jobs are. You know, and but I'm very fortunate at this point to be working for myself. You know, and having some clients under my belt. I finally feel like I'm getting to a point where like I feel comfortable like not having to worry about the floor falling out from under me all the time, you know. But yeah, so just yeah, just an artist trying to make money, you know, like any of us really. You know?
Yeah, that's the common thread.
Yeah. Lord knows we had a lot of conversations about that at MZ. I mean,
Oh geez, yeah. We all I feel like at some point we all here and there would like take it for granted and stuff like that, but you know,
yeah.
it had its perks being there.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because I look back on it and I don't regret any of it. Like I regret the fact of the way that it went, but you know that's a whole nother conversation for another time.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I'm here right now because of that. You know, I wouldn't have met you. You know, like now I'm getting to meet Mimi and everything. It's super cool, and just the friends I made through that company. You know, and it just it also forced you to get really good. You
It
know,
really did. It
even
was like a trial by fire for anybody who wasn't like that experienced yet. Like it was
it
my first
was yeah.
studio gig, so
Oh yeah,
it really forged me, I think.
yeah. That's a good way to hit the ground running. You know, you're like the Spartan baby. You know, you didn't get tossed off the cliff. So,
That's exactly
but
it, man. There were some babies thrown off that cliff. That MZ cliff.
there was. That was a deep, dark cliff too, man. That was
But yeah, we
crazy.
were Spartans.
Yeah, we were, you know, and I think that's one thing I look back on. It's like, you know, the camaraderie we built up there because it was like literally months of just like feeling like your back's against the wall.
Hmm.
But we all got along and we all had each other's back, and yeah, I wouldn't trade that for the world, you know. And again, like it just makes you better at what you do, you know,
Yeah.
for better or for worse. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's crazy
Pretty
how
Yeah.
many
cool.
of us there were and like how like pretty much all of us were like really cool with each other and just in general.
Yeah. I mean, even at the height of when we had like the full stack team and everything, and there's really nobody that you felt like this or that about. Like it was just like, all right, we're all in this together, even though we're all working on different games at the time. But it felt like a family,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. So
Yeah. So I'm going to sneak this in here and kind of jump ahead a little bit, but
Do
you
it.
guys were so close that um, you directed and filmed a short film, and a lot of your friends from Machine Zone star in it.
they did,
Correct?
yeah, yes, that did
Well,
happen.
yeah. What was that like? I mean, I find that super cool, but just like
Thank you.
so surprising that like um, a, a group of people like would be down to do that, and they
Oh
were like
yeah.
really good. They were
Oh
like
yeah.
really good actors.
Yeah, Crom was
It
really
was
good in like that lead
she.
role.
Yeah, that whole thing was crazy because film and making film is like my passion. That's like what I really want to do, you know. But of course, there's not really a job for that, so you just have to do it, you know. So I kind of use the game industry and working on as a concept artist, what have you, is kind of like my way to fund that and keep that close to me, because that is like the long term goal. Hopefully shorter now. Like I actually have a next script already written for another short film that I need to do. But yeah, no, I really wanted to make a short film out there because again, like we were talking, like we all just got along, like there's a common thread between all of us, like we vibe really well. And I kept on saying I need to make a movie at least before I leave, because we already were kind of knowing that Machine Zone was going the way it was going, and I didn't know how long I would stay out there for, and I wanted to at least get something in the books, with the people that I really respected, enjoyed being around, and I mean, I invited Karanka too, and he had a previous engagement, but I know he would have been more than down to be a part of it. If
yeah, I'm really upset that I wasn't able to like make it to that. The thing is, like, I was like, oh man, I wish I had been part of the like Beau's like film project thing, and the fact that I can't remember what the thing that I had been like already scheduled to do was makes me more upset because it clearly wasn't important enough.
I mean, you know what though? It's like, so that's another part too. What what you were saying, Mimi, is that how everybody was like so good with it, and so down. You could feel the energy in it that people were giving it, giving their all in it. And I know you would have, Karanka, and I never wanted to put pressure on anybody for trying to show up, whatever. I was honored that people would even give me their time and their energy to that extent, And that's always something I told myself, when it comes to the point that I do a full feature movie. I don't never want to be a director that takes anybody's time for granted, or it's because it's hard work. And that day we shot that all in a day. They literally, all those people sat in my apartment for like 12 hours before we shot. Like it was a long day, maybe not 12 hours, but most of those scenes with the group was at night. And we did all the previous shots where it was just Katie alone, or like JJ in the bed. JJ was the corpse in the bed. And it was crazy, like everybody was cool to just like wait it out until I needed to use them, and then they just brought it all. And to speak on Crom's like insane performance, like when she read her first line in front of us, like if you can see everybody's face in that room when she gave like her first test line in front of everybody, like everybody's just like looking like, holy shit, like this girl can act, like, wow. And it was nuts. It was super fun. It was intense. And we had Kelly's husband, Adam, as the sound guy, and without him too, it would have been impossible to do it, because he does that stuff on the side. I know that's something he wants to do full time, but he's really good at it. He has like all the equipment for it and everything. And
yeah, it was cool that that like connection was made there with just through Kelly. Yeah,
it really wouldn't have gotten made without him, or not nowhere near as good without him, because the sound in that was great. And I was shooting on a camcorder actually, and that was my goal too. Is before I moved back here, I was still had this camcorder that I promised myself when I first bought it. I was like, I'm gonna make at least one like real short film with this before I upgrade. And I sat with that camcorder for 8 years, and it was getting really outdated. But I said, you know what, I got to do it. I'm just going to use it. What is, people use their cameras, and granted, your camera's better than that camcorder was. I probably could have used my camera on my phone. It probably would have been better. But it was like a testament to just like everybody coming together and just wanting to make something, and it was super cool. Like there's nothing better than that feeling. And I think that's what makes me want to even do that stuff, is when you all get together and you got to make a movie. It's like a whole different like mindset. You can see it in everybody. And even a little bit in this, I see it in you guys getting super into this podcast thing and everything, and that's awesome. I mean, you're the sound half of making a movie, basically. I mean, there's a lot of dedication that goes into this stuff, and it's got to feel good. And you got to feel, I guess, what's the word I'm saying, a satisfaction out of it that you don't get a lot of other things,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think I can speak for both of us. We definitely do. I get that. Like, you thinking about it from that like angle. I'm like, oh yeah, Beau really likes the movies. If he thinks of it the same way that we think of podcasting.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've even like I've read like other I've read at least like 2 or 3 like scripts that you had written. Like I remember you sent a couple to me from it to like check out and stuff like that. Like Beau writes some good scripts too. So I want to see like the next step. I definitely want to see like the next film, whenever
I appreciate
it
that.
is made.
Thank you. Yeah, it was it's actually a script that was kind of given to me in a certain way by a friend of mine that I work with in Madison. At my first studio gig, he gave me the idea, and we were going to shoot it out there, and it just never happened. And over the years, I kind of put it in the back burner and then kind of evolved. And actually, up until last spring, I was going to try and shoot it last summer. And then last year was kind of like a crazy year for me, so it never quite happened. And then, of course, this all happens this year. But in a lot of ways, it's interesting when you kind of sit with something so long like that, because it's like an old art piece, right? Like you hit a wall with a certain piece because just something's not working. You're like hating life. You're like, fuck this. Like I'm done with this thing. I gotta walk away from it.
Yeah.
But you come back to it months later, years later, and something clicks. Like you got better, or whatever. You just look at it at a different angle, and then it takes on this whole other thing that's way better than you. And I think writing scripts is no different, really. And so like last week, actually, I revisited that script because there's something about the ending of it was really bugging me, and now I feel a lot better about it. And I'm really actually excited to shoot it now. I wasn't feeling excited for it, And I think that was a tell for me, is like, it's like if you're not excited to shoot what you wrote, like, then what's the point, Because that everything suffers because of that. But this one's going to be interesting because I want to try and play the main character.
Oh shit! I really want to watch it.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I don't know how I feel about acting and directing. I mean, I never acted before, and I haven't directed a whole lot, so it's like, we'll see.
Yeah,
could be a total dumpster fire.
Nah.
Could be the next Room. You can only hope.
I was gonna be like, who's that guy? Let's cast him as the next Wolverine.
Man, that would be that'd be nuts.
All right, let's take a little bit of a break so I can start a new recording.
Okay.
That's the recording button. Okay, cool. We're back.
Okay. Hello.
So
I feel like
we're gonna have this problem a lot of just like talking at the same time.
Yeah, it's okay. I was just gonna say we're a little bit rusty. I feel like we didn't even say our names.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? Do we want to splice this at the beginning, or?
I was gonna say, I mean, there's a beauty of editing, right?
I guess so, but I mean, yeah. Okay, so our like longtime viewers. All right, that was the intro. This is where you see the title screen in like the movie or the video game you're playing.
Okay, you're right.
But like our longtime viewers, yeah, we're back. It was a long time. I'm sure those who have been like following and care have noticed the long break. But yeah, we like talked about it at the end of season 1, like we'd be taking a break and we'd be coming back at some point. And we were gearing up to get back into it at some point in the beginning of the year, sort of lethargically, I guess, because it was taking us a while to like figure out like how we were gonna like wrangle more people and stuff like that, and then all of this started, and that like really threw things out of a loop.
Yep.
So yeah, we've gotten rusty, guys. By the way, this is our names now. I'm Josh Okranka, if you didn't remember from before.
And I'm Mimi Nguyen, still.
Yeah.
Yeah. and
this
as you already know, we've introduced Beau.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think we explicitly stated that, he's like a concept artist, visual artist, but he also is very passionate about filmmaking.
Yes. And photography. We are gonna be linking everything in like the site and all the posts and stuff like that we're gonna be doing to your like portfolio and your Instagram and stuff like that. Check out Beau's Instagram for some sick ass photography.
Yes, and forgive us for being too excited to start talking with Beau that we forgot to introduce everyone
we really
properly.
just like, launched into it. Like, this is what is this, like episode 1 of like the first time we've ever done this? But I mean,
Yeah.
at the same time, like, yeah, we've never done this all from our own houses and stuff like that. Like, this is weird, guys. Like, we were just getting the hang of doing the podcast thing and all in the same room, I think.
Yeah.
Say, give you guys a pat on the back, man. This is it's a crazy time, so you guys are
can't
doing
see
it.
it, but I am patting myself on the back. I'm the only one.
Good.
We are recording this with over like,
Here,
webcams
could I do
like that,
there's a double pat,
yeah,
even though
I'm the only one without a camera connected to my PC though, so I get to see my friends' wonderful faces and they don't get to see mine, so it's a bit unfair. Maybe I should buy that webcam.
It's okay. Listeners don't get to see our faces at all.
That's true. This video is purely for us, not for you guys. You guys will never see it.
Nobody gets to know the dumpster I'm living in, so.
That was like one of the things that I always liked doing, is like doing a selfie with everybody and then posting it on like the gram or whatever. We can't do that now.
We can do. We'll do a screenshot.
Yeah, but I don't have the webcam on, Mimi.
Oh. So... I mean, I get to enjoy a screenshot.
Okay. Maybe we'll figure this out later down the line. But yeah, that's the state of things coming back. Cameron Dread sort of like shaking, like kind of like sputtering out the gate. Nothing's been like taken care of in the garage. A lot of rust.
Nope.
Well, you didn't need to drive the car anywhere.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Nobody even checked if there was gas.
Yeah.
We just went.
What is gas anymore?
Oh man. Okay.
All right. I have actual questions.
All right.
Okay.
He is the question.
So, yes, your body of work, everything that you've like worked on so far, all of your experience. It's so there's such a wide breadth. Like there's like very graphic and colorful and like shape language kind of stuff from like Rooster Teeth or like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, and like really rendered stuff and characters like from Machine Zone or is it Bakugan stuff from Volta?
Yeah, Bakugan.
Yeah.
We were both kind of doing that at the same time too.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I recognize it, because I remember. Yeah, and then even like the very like modern, I call it like modern illustration kind of thing that Facebook is doing. Like it looks like you work on some of that stuff too.
Yeah.
I don't know. So as someone who's just like done so much, just like what have you learned, or like what was your favorite project to work on?
Well, I guess to answer the first part, the learning part, definitely I learned to kind of keep the same mindset between all the projects, and that I know like everybody has that fear, jack of all trades, master of none, and that's absolutely a thing. But I think as long as you can do a whole bunch of different styles and still maintain your own style at the end and still do what you're really good at. If you think about it in a way that I'm doing this for somebody else, and while I'm doing this for somebody else, I can learn from it in a way of like just basic art fundamentals, like I feel like from each client, each different studio I worked in, I've learned something new that made my own personal work even better, and it made me appreciate other styles a lot more too, when I got to work on some Adventure Time stuff, that was unreal because I love Adventure Time, but you take for granted how hard it is to draw like that, and that was the first thing I worked on that was so like already defined style wise that it's like you couldn't fuck with it, and then to try and bring in like new ideas into that universe, and abide by the style, that was tough. That was really hard. But I learned a ton, and then I think that helped me now with my work at Rooster Teeth, because it's cartoony and stuff, but it's absolutely not like my personal style.
Yeah, I was
My
actually
personal,
really surprised. Like I sort of like it's been a while since I caught up a little bit, and I didn't know you were working on Camp, and I was just like, whoa, what? Like,
yeah,
first of all, I was
yeah.
like, you just like have that style like so down or whatever, and it is so like far apart from like the stuff that I usually see from you, which is I feel like I saw everything you did, like Machine Zone and like personal work and stuff like that, but like other client stuff, like it blows me away how like you match their styles and stuff like that.
I think what has been keeping the ship afloat now, because people see that and they see that I can kind of, whatever you throw at me, I'll try and I'll do it. Like, it sucks in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie, it really does, because it's a totally different way of working every time. But you start getting good with it, and then you go back to your own personal work, and it's weird. You got like this weird look at things that just kind of helps your own work evolve. And I think it's important to maintain that mindset when you're going through that.
Yeah.
As an artist, because I think it's really easy to get burnt out in the same way of working all the time, and get so burnt out and so pissed off that you're working on the same thing that it starts overtaking your own work.
Mm.
And you see it in your own personal work, and of course that's natural. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's always been a need to, like I always said, like, I want to make money doing art. And if that's how I make my money, then that's not too bad. I can't really complain.
Yeah, in the end, we are making art for our living, so
Yeah, and there's a
yeah.
lot of people that can't say that, and that are still trying to get into the industry. It's a hard industry to get into, and
Super
we all
hard.
know that. And thankfully, get to meet sweet people like you and make connections and everything. And at the end of the day, that's really what carries you, and your attitude. Nobody likes to work with an ass.
That's true.
You know that.
Yeah.
I was about to say like, oh man, what a heartwarming like wholesome message, and then but at the end of the reality check, nobody likes an asshole.
It's true,
Being cool.
Yeah, I mean, because it's all a team effort, at the end of the day. And it's like the biggest thing that they hit you with at all the interviews at the studios, like, how do you feel about the team and stuff, especially if you come off of a lot of freelance work that you're
Oh yeah.
used to working alone. And it's like, dude, like, bring it on, man, please, like, crave that,
Yeah.
at times.
You just start to miss people when you're freelance all the time too.
Yeah, and that's where you really start growing too.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, like Machine Zone.
Yeah. Learn so much from so many people.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I totally feel like I can second that point about like taking things from like learning these completely different styles and like fitting into like a project that's like completely outside of your comfort zone, and you come back to your own stuff or to something else that's more in line of what you do, and you like take like skills from that. Like for me, it was the Bakugan project, like super different like
yeah,
workflow and like style and stuff like that. But I ended up taking a lot of those like little tricks and like throwing them into my stuff. Yeah, it's surprising.
yeah.
I'd be like, oh, actually, you know what? If I just did it my way, like this could work for this.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, it's true. I mean, because it's like when I started at Rooster Teeth, like, you default back to what you know, and what I knew was like sketchy, concepty sort of stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
that works for the initial like pass on something. But then when they start getting into like the line work stuff, and I'm not a line work guy. Like, I will just go right to the painting. Like, I usually like to like block in shapes and stuff, because it's just, I'm already at my handwriting shit. Like, I can't even read my own handwriting. Like, I never took notes in school, because like I just like was like, I can't even read what I'm writing down. Like, so it's like, forget this. So it's like line work for me is tough, but I had to get good at it. I had to figure out how I could make it work, and thank God for Lazy Mouse. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Don't tell
and I
them.
got to
Don't
a
tell
point
them the
where I felt
secrets.
pretty good. Yeah, I know, right? I know. It's funny. It's like between Lazy Mouse and the pen tool. Like they thought some of my stuff was like from Illustrator. I'm like, no,
Oh
it's
yeah.
still
Oh man,
Photoshop.
I love the pen tool.
Yeah. Oh, it really does. It makes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of secret knowledge there. Little tool
Yeah.
tips for y'all.
Yeah.
Wait, what's Lazy Mouse?
Lazy Mouse is like a plugin. What
I
is it
think.
technically?
I think. Well, I think it costs like $8 million, so nobody can really use it. So nobody should use it. It's a really secretive thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Basically, like, I mean, I feel like Photoshop kind of has it now with like the smoothing or like the what is that little feature called for
Yeah,
getting
the
your
smoothing. Yeah.
smoothing? Yeah, yeah, it is smoothing.
Okay.
It kind of does
Yeah.
that
Okay.
before it has been doing that since before Photoshop added smoothing. But yeah, it just like makes it
Yeah.
so the your brush strokes go very smoothly and neatly.
It's a weird thing. Like when you have it up too high, like you can really kind of get what it's going at. Is that it kind of almost puts like a lagged line behind your stroke.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're really getting into the rhythm of it, you feel like you're pulling like a weight around the screen, so it like doesn't have the jitter that your normal stroke would have. It's strange, but when you get used to it and how it works and you find just your right sensitivity setting that works for you, it's actually quite nice. But yeah, I know it started as a plugin, like a third-party plugin,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure it's still a thing. But the one in Photoshop is the one I've been using for the last 2 years now.
Yeah. It can do the job.
Yeah, I think it does what it needs to, but it's immensely helpful for people that are not like super like detailed about their lines like me.
Yeah. I sing its praises, but I'm still a butt. I still like to try to do everything by hand before I like something happens where I just fold and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll smooth it. Or like,
Dude, really, like, I mean, it took me so long to find like the right workflow that worked for me with it, and then I turn it off the second I'm not doing something like that, and I find out I forget to turn it off, and I'm going to paint, and I'm just like, what the fuck is my brush doing? And
oh
I'm
yeah,
like, okay,
that's
yeah,
painting with that is pretty much worthless, but yeah,
terrifying.
definitely for the line
Terrifying.
art.
Yes, big time.
Oh yeah. Mimi like pointed out something before about like your sort of artistic influence of oh man, I can't remember his name.
Phil Hale.
Phil Hale. Phil Hale.
Phil Hale. Phil Hale. Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to talk anything about like that sort of like how
sure.
it's influenced you and stuff?
Yeah. So yeah, like so my style, if I could explain it, it definitely has a lot of Ashley Wood roots. And so in college, I came across Ashley Wood, and he blew my mind in a way that it was just so like dirty. It was just so dirty, and like it just looked fun to work like that. Like he didn't give a shit. Like it was just crazy, but it looked good, and it had its own flair. It was just all style, but he clearly knew what he was doing. And he put out these books, this series, and I think he's actually going to do it again, called Swallow. And it was basically these like 3 sets of books. I think it was 3 total. They were basically, the way he said it was that, and this is before social media was really a thing and all that stuff. Even before Facebook, I think MySpace is just starting to come out. So the accessibility to a lot of stuff on like obscure stuff on the internet wasn't really a thing then. And to be able to connect with a lot of people wasn't a thing, or see other people's stuff wasn't really a thing. And so he came out with this book series called Swallow that he said was filled with artists that inspired him. Because when he was younger, he would like kill to find books on artists that he really looked up to. Mm-hmm. And now that he was in a position to do it, he put together basically art books of multiple different artists. And for me, like just starting out in art college, it was like an eye-opening experience. Like the first issue, he has Phil Hale, Jeremy Geddes, Bengal, like all these amazing artists that now like influenced me so hugely. And I'll never forget the first time I seen Phil Hale's work. It like almost scared me because it was like so realistically painted, but it looked like a painting, but there's something so real about it. It's like if the world was like a painted world, like his figures are the most real you can get, in my opinion. Like they're better than like photorealistic like paintings.
Better than real.
Yeah, like I got super deep into his work because I always feel like when something kind of makes me feel weird, like in a way, like I'm kind of like off put by this, kind of scary. There's something here that I'm experiencing that I never experienced before. I always try and listen to that, and that's what made me come back to his work. And ever since then, like I just got deep into his stuff, and I bought his art book, and I literally just like poured over every fucking painting, and I got super deep into the brushwork of what he was doing and how he expressed this, like the line on the foot in like one brush stroke, but it was like perfect, you know, like it just nailed that, you know, he hit it just right. And you step away from it, it just all comes together so beautifully.
Oh, man.
And I became obsessed. I became obsessed with every aspect of his work. And I had an assignment in college where we had to take a picture, and this is actually, this class in college is what made me realize I want to be a director, because that's definitely something I didn't realize I even wanted to do until I was in this class in college. Before, it was always just working on art or being a painter, and that really pushed me into that mindset. But the project was to take a picture, a static picture, could be a photograph, whatever have you, and take that into After Effects or whatever program, but basically make a little like animation showing beyond what's ever in the picture. So like the example given was like an alleyway. You see like a one perspective shot straight down an alleyway. Like show like the street that's, you know, intersecting that alleyway, you know, up ahead. Show like what's beyond the picture. And so a lot of people instantly started thinking about photography and stuff and different aspects of that. And I was just like, I want to kill myself on this, and I want to learn from this. Like, there's just like a burning sensation of like, I really want to like go for this project and really do it right. And so I was like, I'm going to do a painting by Phil Hale and make it like explore the painting, you know, but make it real. And I ended up teaching myself ZBrush. I was already like messing with ZBrush because that was my major in college, was 3D modeling actually. But so I went to the American Academy of Art in Chicago, and it's a very illustration heavy school. They, back in the day, they put out amazing legendary illustrators, but when I was going there, they weren't quite on the upswing of digital art. And so a lot of like the stuff that I learned was all self-taught, like the digital stuff, because they just didn't have the means. The teachers didn't know. Right. They were definitely behind on the times. So I knew some ZBrush and 3ds Max, and I ended up like modeling like one of the figures, his abstract figure, in ZBrush as best I could, and built the stage in it and everything. I have the video. It's up on my YouTube. Still, yeah, it's an early video. I think it's called Mockingbirds, maybe, because that was Phil Hale's band.
It is, just because I recently looked through your website. So yes.
Oh yeah. So that's the little short film. Actually, I guess it's kind of like a short film, and I wanted to give it a narrative, and I basically wanted to tell an abstract sense of how this painting came together. And I just did it, and it just kind of worked. I mean, it was hard work, but I never felt like I was like taking on more than I can chew. You know, like there's something in me that's just like, no, you can do this, and you can learn all this stuff, and you can, you know, like really just like go crazy with this. And weirdly enough, keep on going with this crazy long story, but I uploaded it to YouTube, and because I was super into Phil's work, I ended up coming across a video, and it was the only one on the internet, because at the time Phil Hale's website was completely shit. And I found out later that he did it on purpose. Like, I don't know if you can like dig this up in the archives of the internet, but it was batshit crazy. Like the way it was set up, the way the links worked, everything was made just to be frustrating. and he did it on
Wow.
purpose. He like paid some web designer back in the day to make this, like, and he just wanted it to be like awful to navigate, and it was.
Why?
I don't know. Like,
It's an art
well,
piece.
I guess so.
yeah,
Just
I
everything
guess
is art.
I guess I probably could answer why, but I'll get into that. So so basically, I uploaded to YouTube though, and like killed the project. Teacher loved it, everything. Um, and then I came across a video on YouTube that was like the only thing on Phil Hale on the internet that was anything about him actually. And it was this weird little Super 8 film, like about him painting in a studio. Like it was like a minute
Hmm.
long, super abstract, but like I was just like, oh shit. I was like there's literally nothing else about him anywhere out there. So I just took a gamble and I sent the video to the guy that uploaded that. And I was like, I don't know if he knows him, but I was like, I figured maybe, like at least this guy would be interested in this, And he comes back, and apparently it was his son that shot the video, and he was younger at the time. I mean, his son, I don't know how old his son is, but he was definitely younger. But he said, I talked to Phil, and he'd seen your video, and he was blown away by it, and would like to get into contact with you.
Damn, dude.
Really?
And yeah. And so I was like, what? And I was like, okay. And so we started trading emails a lot and got to know each other. And he loved it. He just loved the fact that like where the figure like just kind of came out of nowhere and everything. And I started doing another side project where I took his cut up pictures, his like weird little like kind of sepia tone images that are like it looks like a stapler type like hole punch thing that he mixes with like kind of like plants. It's in his artwork and some of his art books. But I took that, and that video's up on YouTube as well. And to further try and push my like how I thought about things in a 3D space, I wanted to make those abstract objects in 3D. So like make them an actual thing, which was extremely hard. But through even digging deeper, then I started realizing what he was using and stuff, and we started talking about that, and he was just like blown away at like how much I like got into this stuff. And yeah, it was crazy. We ended up like talking on the phone a couple times, and then kind of like I want to say like a year or two went by. Just like little trading emails here and there, and then one night I was sitting there and I went back and I looked at his work after a while because actually right after I got out of college I decided to like kind of like push his work away because I was like too influenced by it. It's like when you find that artist that like just encapsulates everything you want to do, you start like wanting you just draw like that too much, and I think every artist that experiences that at some point or another in their
You start to
lifetime.
like become like to shadow your idol too much.
Yeah, it's derivative, and like especially if it's something like Phil Hale or like Ashley Wood or something. I mean, those guys you can see their work a mile away, and like anybody that's trying to do something close to that, it's just like they instantly think of that. So I didn't want to be known for the guy that was doing, just like wannabe Phil Hale work. So, but I did learn a lot. I learned a whole bunch. I learned like how to paint through all of his work and everything. But I needed to take a step away from it. So I took like 2 years of not looking at his work to like kind of find my own path and how I was growing as an artist. And one night, like, it was like 2010, I just like came across his work again, some newer work that I haven't seen of his yet. And I just decided to hit him up on email again. I was like, dude, I'm just thinking about you. Like, I really appreciate, the inspiration you gave me. Like, came across some of your newer work, just dropping a line, just purely out of that. There's no intention whatsoever behind it, just to say hello. And he comes back saying you came at the perfect time because I know you do video stuff, and I have this project with this up and coming fashion designer for London's Fashion Week. And would you like to collaborate together on making a video? And there's these weird instances in my life that like they kind of sync up, like where it's like, the statement everything's meant to be, or you know, everything happens for a reason, and it's a cheesy statement, but I think it's true. I remember I was getting really into like men's fashion at the time and just like style in general and finding my own style. Um, and even just clothing, you know, that you wear. And I came across this fashion designer called Eitor Throat. And the second I seen his work, I was like, that looks like Phil Hale's work. I was like, this guy's definitely influenced by Phil Hale. And it was weird, that like stuck in my head, but the stuff was super cool and like super out there, but definitely had like a lot of Phil Hale-ness to it. And lo and behold, the fashion designer Phil Hale was going to work with then on London's Fashion Week was that guy. So it was like this weird thing.
All these like intersections.
It was nuts. Like the second he said his name, I was like, oh shit. I called it on that one. But yeah, it was crazy. But basically it was this little video that was going to play at his showing at London's Fashion Week, I guess, like maybe behind the scenes on the runway or something. I don't know. But basically I was taking a lot of like photography that Phil was doing and sending me in some Super 8 footage, because he's super into Super 8 footage, I guess. It's very interesting. And just trying to come up with a narrative. And it was like super abstract. I can send you guys in on the side, but I'm sorry this is a very long story, but
no, this is a really cool story.
Yeah.
It just keeps on expanding. Like it really is nuts, and it's so I was working on like photo manipulating these images, like kind of just trying to figure out what I can do, because it was extremely just like, here's what we have, here's what I have no idea what to do. Like I kind of have a vague idea that I want this guy to be like searching for something, but I don't know how to portray it. And he kind of sent me some test music to it, which I think was actually from the Solaris soundtrack. And I just went to work on it. I was like cutting up these images, trying to find my way with it. And it just kind of felt really cool to just like explore in a way that like, I don't know, like you're working with these guys, especially, you know, Phil Hale, like you look up to him. So it's just like, can't fuck this up. But it never felt like it was like too much pressure that I couldn't do it. You know, it was just like, okay, let's find something different here. And so I really just like kind of just like threw it against the wall and put this little demo thing together, and he like absolutely loved it. And it went on like this for about 3 months of sending these little clips back and forth and really pushing it. And then I guess at the end something happened where this Eitor Throat guy like dropped out, dropped out of the thing. Yeah, and it really kind of fucked the whole situation up. But then, you know, that sucked. Like, but for me, like the fact that I was getting to work with Phil in this capacity was like, I was just like, that's fine. Like, you know, like
that
whatever.
Had
like
all the value on its own, almost probably.
Yeah. And so, and he loved it enough that he's like, I want to continue doing this. I think we can make like a short film out of this. So he's like, let's continue doing this, because everything we were working on, he had the rights to. So there wasn't anything like complete. Well, maybe not. I don't know. There may have been some stuff in the background that I wasn't told, but either way, it continued on, and we got it to a point that was actually pretty interesting. And so then he's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm like friends with Linkin Park and Tool," and I showed this to both of them.
Your Tool story. Okay.
Yeah.
This is all like Mimi. This is all stuff I've never heard from Beau. Like every time, like he never runs out of cool stories.
Wow.
It was truly insane. Like it was nuts. Like he tells me this, like he's like, Linkin Park loved it, Tool loved it. He's like, Adam Jones from Tool is a really good friend, and Adam Jones is the guitarist and also like he's basically like the brains behind Tool, especially visually. Like he is the artist for Tool.
Didn't he like make their early music videos? Like wasn't that like animation his?
He does all of their music videos.
He was a VFX artist before Tool, right? Like he apparently worked on Jurassic Park.
He worked on Jurassic Park,
and he left in the middle of that project to start Tool.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So Yeah, it's so he said I showed it to him, and he wants to contact you about it and to make it a Tool music video. And I was like, what? And because especially like that the Stinkfist video by Tool, like I remember watching it as a kid on late night MTV back when they still played music videos.
Yeah.
And that video like fucked me up. Like I was like, this is insane, dude. Like this trippy as hell. You know, like the little like animatronics bit to it. But he did all of that, man. I mean,
Yeah,
the guy's
crazy.
The guy's a bona fide genius, and he did all the covers. He does even all the designs, which have won like Grammys or whatever you win for like designing, you know, CD covers and stuff.
Oh, I don't know
would put like
what that award is, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's nuts, man. I mean like he's the real deal. And sitting there, and I one day get a call, and he's like, "Hey, it's Adam Jones." Like I was like, "What?" And I was like, this is insane. And he's like, "I seen this." He's like, "I seen your demo that you did with Phil," and he's like, "And I like buy it." He's like, "I want to own it." He said, "And I don't want anybody to see it," because he said, "I think there's something so original about it and so cool that I want to like make a video like influenced by this." And he's like, "And I want to fly you out to LA and hang out and help
So
make
cool.
this video." And I was just like, "What the fuck?" You know, like, and at the time at that time in my life was when I landed my first studio gig, actually in Madison, Wisconsin. So I was like going through all these crazy things happening in my life, like this.
Everything was coming up, Beau.
It's nuts, dude. I mean, that's, you know, when they say it rains, it pours, and it's for better or for worse. You know, you just kind of jump with it. And but yeah, I mean, eventually, like I went out there for 3 weeks and got to help them direct the video. And it was like a first week of pre-production, then the midweek was shooting, which was intense because it was all like night shots in the desert just outside LA. But I got to because of his connections in the VFX industry, dude. Like we worked with Legacy Effects, and at the time I got to hold Captain America's shield from the Avengers before like it was when it was still being shot. Like they do everything, dude. Like everything with Marvel, and that's like still when like the Marvel movies are still trying to figure themselves out, you know, a little bit, but they were starting to come into their stuff. They had like Iron Man suits sitting there, like, and then are you guys a Del Toro fan? Like Pan's Labyrinth and all that stuff. So the main sculptor that was doing our main figure on that thing, he was the guy that designed the babyface guy, that like creepy fucking like dude.
Oh my god. Wait, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. 2 seconds to start a new recording so we don't lose any of this. Okay, keep going.
Okay. So I mean like it was nuts, and talking with that guy, like he was just totally nonchalant. And you got a green screen. Is she gone?
What? No, I can.
No. Oh. Everything's still good.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No, so yeah, it was the guy that did that baby face thing, and I remember talking to him because he was working on this like torso at the time, and this was what turned out to be for Pacific Rim. And yeah, and even dude, one time I was sitting there, like he gets a phone call, he's on the call and everything, and he hangs up. I was like, oh yeah, I was like, you know, okay. He's like, yeah, that was Del Toro. He's like,
oh my god.
I was like, what? Like, what is happening right now? You know, yeah, dude, Adam Jones is like amazing art connections in the industry.
I would do ungodly things to meet Adam Jones.
It was nuts, man. I mean,
which Tool video were you there for?
It was going to be the pot, so it never officially got made.
Oh, okay. I was there wasn't one for the pot.
Yeah, no, it was going to be for that though. And there's a lot of creative differences that happened, and it kind of derailed the production a bit after a while, unfortunately. But the experience of being out there and being around that and getting to see like real, like major, like filming.
You got to see some legends too.
I mean, we like the first guy I met, like his first project he worked on was a demo guy on the first Star Wars movie.
Oof.
You know, like he was like, yeah, he was like, I was like, oh, what was your first project? You know, I didn't know this guy from Adam. He was a slightly older dude. He's like, oh, the Star Wars. I was like, what? I was like, A New Hope. I was like, A New Hope. He's like, yeah. He's like, I was like, you know, the demo supervisor. And then we're sitting there, and this is like my first day meeting all these people. My first day in California. Well, in LA, I've been to California before that, but I was really young. But just thrown into this stuff. And then I got to meet Phil Hale in person then too, because me and him worked together the whole time. I got to be his personal valet throughout the whole thing too.
Oh my God. That's so cool.
It was nuts. It was nuts. I mean, Adam has a lot of Phil Hale paintings, and those were super cool to see in person.
Yeah.
I'll have to show you guys the photos sometime. I got like,
oh my God,
many insane photos, behind the scenes stuff.
Maybe after the recording.
Yeah, definitely. I'm
remembering an Adam Jones story that a little bit, because you've told us a little bit of this before, and it reminded me a little bit of one of my favorite things. So, back when Beau was still around here and we'd go over to his apartment, he's got a collection of like all sorts of stuff, especially books and stuff like that, and you know of figurines. Yeah, actually, he had figurines all over.
Yeah, you can see all of it, or not all of it, but I saw like so that short film, it was filmed in your apartment, right? Yeah, just so much artwork, so many books.
Yeah, you have one book in particular that always really tickled me, and I always bring it up.
I know what you're gonna say.
The Ninja Turtles book.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying that you got that from Adam Jones.
I did. Yeah. I did.
That Ninja Turtles book. Oh God, I wish I could find it and have my own copy.
I came across that artist again actually just recently.
Really?
On Instagram. Yeah, I'll have to
just
if I can track him down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a book of Ninja Turtles art that is just some of the most wretched shit you'll ever see in your life. And,
where was it curated from though? Like
it's just this one artist's work.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just drawing just this the most depraved Ninja Turtles, like, I guess, fan art.
So yeah, I guess the story was, because the way it was given to me is after doing the production, Adam invited me to his house in Malibu because he's got 2 houses. Of course, why wouldn't he?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, let's go to my house in Malibu and like hang out and kind of like, you know, decompress for a little bit. I was like, hey, dude, I'm here to do whatever. Like this is all good. Yeah. This is cool. And which was even more amazing because he's got original Mike Mignola's. Like he's got an amazing art book collection too. I mean, the guy really is like. He had the Terminator mask there that he worked on for Terminator 2. One of the Velociraptor figures and everything. I mean, the guy is a Renaissance man. But we're sitting there, and it's like me, him, and Phil, and he comes out with this book, and he just like drops on my lap. I'm like, oh, what's this? And it's the Ninja Turtles thing. And they're both like looking at me, and I'm like looking at them, and I look at the book, and I start going through it. I'm like, what the fuck is this, dude? And then I start laughing. They're like, yeah. I was like, they're like, you can have that. I was like, I don't want it. I was like, I don't want this thing, you know? Like, okay. They're like,
I'm so surprised that you didn't want it.
Oh yeah, I would be like, thank you.
Yeah. Oh my god. Well, it was funny. Like, and now, like, of course, like, I'm so happy to have it. Like, I don't even know, like, if you can get it anywhere. I don't know. Like, but I guess the way that they found this guy is, I think Phil said he was supposed to do a show with this guy and didn't know his work before. Or was part of a gallery and then came across it when he like showed up in person, and he was just like, holy shit. He was like, okay, you know, and like it's just there's some other stuff I'm seeing by some other artists on Instagram. They're doing some similar stuff to his actually.
Really? Oh, you're gonna have to like send that my way.
Yeah. We gotta link these.
It's pretty
we'll get a link dump together.
It's pretty savage. You know,
oh man! Finally, we got to hear the Beau catchphrase.
Oh,
savage.
First time!
Savage, yeah.
Almost
I miss
took,
hearing
like,
that.
Almost an hour.
Yeah.
An hour in.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're getting to the hour, aren't we?
That's crazy. Great. Well, we did have a long startup though too.
That's true. That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Keep
going. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, now that I've heard this story, it makes a little bit more sense now that I saw on your like experience that you worked with Porter Robinson.
Yeah, that was another weird one.
That's some stuff that I didn't see until just recently too.
Oh no, kidding! Yeah. It's that one is really particularly interesting and cool. And I guess to speak earlier about when you asked what my favorite project was, that's up there. Just in the way of getting to work on something like that was so global, like the way I came across that whole thing was what website was it? It may have been ArtStation actually, but in the early days of ArtStation, or it was actually.
Is it Tumblr?
No, it may have been
Concept.org maybe.
It may have been Craigslist actually.
Craigslist.
Where I came across the art job. Yeah, I think it was Craigslist, and it was this really obscure posting. And I was in Madison, Wisconsin at the time, and I was jumping from freelance to freelance because I just like not even a year before that got laid off from my first studio gig, which was actually a very similar situation to Machine Zone, where it was like the whole art team just got dumped, you know.
Damn.
So that was like a lot of like treading water in those days. But so you try and find the work you can get, you know. And the job posting was like 70s anime characters, like, and I was just like, well, I really like old anime. I love anime, and I like 70s, 80s, and 90s anime. Like, of course, I was like, just even the fact that they just referenced 70s anime, I was like, okay, like, I'll throw in my card in this pile. It was just really obscure, and I get a response back saying, really like your work. Basically, this is a project for a high-profile DJ, and we can't tell you who he is yet, but he really likes anime, but we're trying to gather the artist, you know, so if you're interested in this. And I was just like, yeah, of course, like, cool, like, sounds different. And about a week prior to that, I've always been into electronic music. A week prior to that, I started getting back into it. I actually got out of it for a little while. I was listening to blues a lot and stuff, and different styles of music, and rock more. And when I jumped back in, I was kind of like digging around, trying to find who like the new top shit was. And I came across this one song, and it was by this guy Porter Robinson, and I was like, oh, it was pretty good. And I never heard of him before. And I know that's like right when he was really starting to blow up. But so I researched him, and I was like, dude, this guy's young. Like, he was like 18 at the time or something, 19. Like, I was like, made me feel super like small because I was like 27, 26. I was like, the fuck, dude? Like, kids are getting so young, getting so good at this stuff. But it just like stuck with me. I was like, okay. I was like, I could tell this guy's gonna be huge. By the way, it was just, you could just tell. And that was it, you know. And then I went back and I applied for this job, and this guy's saying, this DJ that likes anime. Again, I didn't really know Porter Robinson that well, but when he said that, my mind instantly started going to like other big DJs like Skrillex at the time or Dead Mouse or something. And I was like, could it be one of them? Like, I was like, that'd be insane, you know? And then like in the back of my mind, I was like, could it be this Porter Robinson guy? Cause like, I don't know, like there's something there. But sure enough, it was. It ended up being him. And I was just like, this is crazy, man. Like, it's just one of those things that just like comes together for no specific reason other than he just liked my work. And I hit the right job posting. That was super weird. And basically he gathered all the artists together. I don't remember how many of us it was, but we each got 2 songs from his album that he was working on at the time, Worlds. And he sent us like demos of the song before it even got released. And I got assigned Hear the Bells and Fellow Feeling. And he sent like kind of like his ideas for kind of what he had in mind for what he wanted like things to look like. But it was very vague and very like open, and like I went on his like his Tumblr at the time when Tumblr was huge, and
yes.
I just like really started like diving into like his aesthetic and stuff, and was really just feeling it. And he ended up loving it. Like I designed that shaman character with the skull and everything, and the girl like in the floating islands, and it just we basically had to come up with a bunch of different boards for like different sections of the song, and then that would go off to the animators, and then be animated, made into the actual visuals for the thing. But to have a part in it in such a big way was amazing because I got to see it in person. I got to go to it in Madison. We came there and see the tour live, and that was a trip. I mean,
that sounds hella awesome.
It was nuts. That was another like mind breaking moment because we went with a couple friends, and they were all huge Porter fans. So like everybody's like freaking out that like I was getting to work on this, and just when the work showed up, because he had it tuned into his instrument, so whatever he was playing at the time or whatever beat he was playing, a certain visual would cue in. And so to see that all in action was just unreal, dude. It was super cool. I felt super proud, and just honored to be a part of that. And still to this day, I get random emails from people that are just like they send me a picture and it's a tattoo of the shaman guy. I did like they get tattooed on them and stuff like. Or the girl, yeah, like it's super weird. Like I'm just like, holy shit, like this, and people's like
when your designs are getting tattooed on people, that's like a whole of it. I've never experienced like that level of like
it's
reach,
crazy.
I guess. I don't know.
I'm honored, like I mean, I got tattoos myself, and I know the dedication to sit through that sort of thing, and then to make that decision to commit to that is unreal, and I just, usually I just don't know what to say. I can only say thank you. But I mean, there's a lot of people that just say those visuals like change your life and like the world. I mean, I think it came out at the perfect time, that tour for a lot of kids coming up. And what is it called? They made a shirt out of it. They sent me that. Like people out there are wearing my stuff that I don't even know, which is crazy. So it's super cool. Yeah, it was
so cool. Yeah,
amazing project to be a part of. So yeah, man, it's weird.
Beau's the legit artist, man.
Yeah,
he's everywhere. He's on people's skin. He's on their shirts. That's awesome, dude.
And I got a dirty ass turtle tank behind me. This is a life.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a turtle in there?
He's actually walking around downstairs. His name's Donatello, because he's my favorite Ninja Turtle. Always has been, and he's a red-eared slider. I've had him since he was just like a little like tiny thing that can fit in the palm of my hand, and now he's like the size of a dinner plate.
Wow.
I've had him for.
He's just walking around downstairs.
Yeah, we let him roam.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
it's like forget this tank.
Yeah,
I'm going downstairs.
Oh man, the other day sitting outside, and we brought him outside, and when he gets outside, I mean, you can tell that he just feels everything a lot more, and he gets super aware of the surroundings. But he loves to water, and we live right next to a little pond, and totally lost sight of him for a little bit longer than expected, and came to, and we're like, oh my god, where's the turtle? Thought we lost him. Thankfully we didn't. He was under a bush in front of the house. But I've had that turtle for, I want to say, probably close to like well over 15 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've seen people like tie helium balloons to their like turtles so that they don't lose
That's
them.
a good idea. I have seen that before with like lizards and stuff, and like people let them roam in their house. Yeah, I should do that when I take them outside. That's a really good idea. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'll have to. I'll send you guys pictures of that.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
He's like, yes. I got the turtle pics.
All
right.
Yeah.
Well.
Wow.
This has been.
Do we have any takeaways?
Takeaways is I'll give a takeaway. Beau's an even cooler dude than I originally thought, and I've known Beau for a while now. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's always more. There's always more cool stories, and I feel like we've, just scratched the surface a little bit.
I'm here if you guys ever want me back.
Oh, dude, yes.
No, I
My
know. Like,
takeaway.
sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll be quick and then you can go. My takeaway from Beau is that you just seem like a very like genuinely creative person, and like I feel like you take your chances sometimes. Like you just reached out and you decided to just show Phil Hale your stuff, and like it turned into something, and I think that's cool. And it's like, yeah, if you really care about something and just
do that.
yeah, like why not, right? Like what could it can't hurt you, and yeah. So I think that's really cool.
No, I really appreciate that. I think that's one thing I try and tell a lot of like kids that are trying to come up in the art industry is like never take it or yourself too serious, and everybody started from where you started, you know. So I think removing the fear that, oh, it's Phil Hale, like he is who he is, like, no, he started as just as much as we did, you know, like, and so what's the harm in trying to hit him up, you know, in some way, you know, don't be weird, you know, don't be stalkerish or anything, like, just be honest, you know, and people respond to honesty. People can tell that. I will say though, nowadays, like, that was also back in, that was 2007, 2006, you know, the internet was a different world. It's crazy now. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's crazy because the kids nowadays have access to so much more art stuff than like I did coming up as an artist. And like the only thing that was out when I came up was dev art, and we all know what dev art is. You know, like it's fine to start out, but it's dev art. And then conceptart.org, you know, was super huge, but it was super inclusive. You know. But you see in the artists coming up nowadays, I mean, they're so much better than like what my generation was coming up, like at an early age, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is, and now it is easier to like message somebody like Phil Hale or something like that, but it almost in the way of it being easier, it almost feels more daunting.
I guess so, because you're like, I imagine all the noise, like I'm just like another voice in this like sea, but I think there's still plenty of value in doing it. People themselves aren't that much different, you know.
No,
they'll still respond in the same way to that genuine, like the desire to reach out or whatever, and that is that exact like, sort of like way you went about it back then still works.
Yeah, and I think especially if you come forward with the most just like genuine foot that you can, and especially if you have something to show for it, be like, hey, this is something that I put a lot of work into it. I just wanted you to know, or I really love your work. Like, check it out if you don't mind, you know, or don't mind. But yeah, man, I think it's all about taking that risk and being willing to, you know, not get a response. And if that happens, then that happens. Then in that in itself, then you kind of know where things lay, you know, like. And that's like a huge thing for me. If I ever get hit up by somebody, and I'm not up to like the standards of any of those people by any means, but every once in a while I do get hit up by somebody, and it's like it makes my day, you know. Like I'm just like so like blown away that somebody would want to like talk to me or like show me something that they've done. And so I don't know. I feel like most of the artists out there would only feel the same thing, even if they are, you know, big and everything, you know. We've heard horror stories about certain artists in history, but you know, it is what it is. You know, just be humble, man. Like that's my opinion. Just be humble and always just want to be better. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good takeaway.
Beautiful. Yes.
See, I worked it in there.
You did it. You hear that, Cadmium Dreaders? Wait, never came up with a name for you guys. But yeah.
I thought it was Cadmium Dreadheads or something.
Dreadheads, that was it. Oh.
Dreadheads.
Okay, you Dreadheads. That's your takeaway. That's your the more you know moment. The more you know. Be cool.
They can't see the sparkles right now.
Take that leap.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
All right. Well, is there anything else that we want to ask Beau here at the end?
There's too many stories.
There's too many stories.
Too much
I know.
to get
I'm
into.
sorry. I felt like I only got like 2 out in this whole thing. And
It's
like,
okay.
They were some really good stories, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And they'll you know what? We'll probably have you on sometime in the future again, because we want to hear more of those fucking cool stories. Some cool Beau wisdom.
I really appreciate you guys.
No, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much.
Of course, man. I mean, I was super jacked when I heard about this, and even when I heard that you guys started this thing in the first place, like I remember being so excited. I think I messaged you like right away, Frank. I was just like, dude, good for you, man. Like I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like,
yeah, dude. And I super appreciated, all that and the fact that you were so excited to come on.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. I mean, like it's just great getting to talk about shop with the people that know what you're talking about, so especially like out here now and freelancing and everything, you don't get that as much, so this is super cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed coming on. Thank you for coming on. And
thank you guys
so much.
All right.
No problem.
Well,
do we do the I Dream a Genie like clap? Like
no, I think we're just gonna wrap it up, and you know what, everybody out there listening at home, this is just a start. There'll be more coming out. I don't know what our schedule is gonna be like this time around, but we'll be announcing it at some point once these episodes start to come out.
Yep.
And yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
stay tuned for more.
Stay tuned.
Thank you for listening.
And just keep being cool and humble.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. I'm going to stop that recording.